What is happening, folks? So you're going to hear a lot of explosions, as you heard right there, because the neighbors next door are literally firing off fireworks right next to the window of the place that I stream. So that's going to be interesting. I hope you like Chicken Nuggy Tyler Reddick. That was probably the best meme I saw posted during the Brickyard 400. It was posted by Richard Childers Racing. You can hear it sounds like there are many Denny Hamlin tires blowing out right now. So, that is incredible. I think Kyle fell asleep, so I don't know if we've got Kyle ready to go yet, but we'll find out. So while we got the music playing, I think this should pop up with the results for today, and indeed they are. Now, these are unofficial, and I imagine during the course of this live stream we're going to find out whether or not Kevin Harvick is the official winner of the 27th Brickyard 400, but at least right now, as of right now I should say, Kevin Harvick is a back-to-back winner at the Brickyard 400. Matt Kenseth was one of the best stories all day, bringing it home second. Looked like he really had a chance to win, but I think that was kind of dependent on Harvick not having the tires to get up to the front. I said as soon as I saw that Kenseth was the leader on the alternate strategy that you needed to watch out for him, and he proved me right. And apparently this is like the exact finishing order from Harvick's first win at the Brickyard 400 in 2003 when Harvick won. Kenseth was second. Eric Almirola had a great race running in third. Again, the Stewart-Haas cars were just so strong today. They were really the only cars that could kind of legitimately challenge the dominance that was Denny Hamlin. Brad Keselowski, one of the guys who seems to always... Did I misspell Almirola? Almirola. Did I misspell it? I don't know. Anyway, Brad Keselowski. If I spelled Brad Keselowski right, that's the one that I'll be happy with, because that's a tough name to spell. He was pretty anonymous today. He was kind of hanging out in the top 10, but he wasn't quite a leader. He wasn't quite somebody who was going to be up at the front, it seemed. But Brad Keselowski managed to get a P4 out of it. Cole Custer, I think, was one of the better stories. Again, that Stewart-Haas power really helped him quite a bit, but he was up front a lot of the time. Yeah, I left an I out, didn't I? That's right, I did. I apologize to Eric Almirola. I always forget. Yes, I did. I spelled it wrong. Oh, Kyle's here. I thought you died, Kyle. Did your Goodyear blow up? Is that what happened? Oh, okay. We're just going over the top 10 right now. We just got down to Cole Custer. Is there anything you want to say outside of the fact that I misspelled Almirola about the top 5? Yeah, that was what I was just talking about, is how dominant Stewart-Haas was today. They were really the only ones that could challenge Hamlin at all. I can't wait to see how many things I misspelled on the second page. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. And yes, you may notice there's a lot of Goodyears blowing up in the background right now. I can't help that. So we're just going to have to keep going with it. Let's go on to the second page of the unofficial results. Remember, there's still... Oh, we can't hear Kyle. Kyle, you have to speak because they couldn't hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, now they can hear you. I just had you muted. I had the desktop muted. He's speechless, yeah.
So you want me to...
I want you to go back. I want you to go back and say what you said.
Oh, well, I picked Kevin Harvick to win, and Eric Almirola is my dark horse.
That's not what you said the first time. No, I'm just kidding.
That's what I said the first time, that's for sure. But yeah, if you need betting advice, go to me. Or don't bet. But Alec Almirola.
I spelled Eric right.
How would you... I'm doing the last name. How would you say how you spelled it? Almirola.
I missed a vowel there.
Yeah, Cole Custer with an impressive top 5 and all them Fords up there.
Did you notice he let Almirola around. That was what my cryptic tweet about Stuart Haas team orders was. I was like, they definitely let Almirola go. Let's go to the second page. I'm probably misspelled McDowell. I'm guessing that's, if I misspelled one, that's
you
the
need
one.
to, every time you write these names from now on, just go and like check out their Wikipedia or something. Just find their name on like Racing Reference.
I have to Google them.
J-Ski.
I literally have to Google their names to get their photos, so I don't know how I spell them right there and then misspell them.
Man.
But Kyle Busch, Kyle Busch is a 3-time winner of the Brickyard, correct? Or is it just 2?
2.
Yeah, okay.
Because he was going to be 3-time in 17.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I was like, he dominated 3 years in a row, so surely no, he didn't.
This is actually the first time I'm seeing the top 10 as well. I didn't pay attention to the whole thing.
Yeah,
Bubba.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Is there were some really good runs right here. And I misspelled Michael. I knew it! That's literally my middle name, and I misspelled it. Wow. F in the freaking chat. That's what I get for typing very quickly. I mean, these graphics do take forever for Mr. One Man Show to get done, so it's tough sometimes. But yeah, Michael McDowell.
Indiana education for you right there.
That's that Indiana education.
Your English. Indiana English.
That's Indiana English. Indiana English. Yeah, you're right. The A and the C are swapped. But Michael McDowell was legitimately fast today, no matter how you spell his name. He was like, on one of the restarts, God almighty, there's a Denny Hamlin's tire. On one of the restarts, he was like legitimately passing like Keselowski, and like he challenged Hamlin. He might have passed Hamlin, I think, but he was legit fast. Tyler Reddick continues to be impressive. That and he's driving a Toyota. There's another mistake. I can't believe people haven't. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Tyler Reddick is not driving a Toyota. I spelled all the Bubba Wallace things right, though. And Bubba Wallace getting a P9 after essentially being like 20th the entire day. That's something. And Joey Logano, who was technically the pole sitter, didn't really earn it. Nothing against Joey Logano, but he didn't earn it. It was a draw. Managed to sit in P10. So there you go. Let's bring up my face so we can stop looking at my terrible typing. We do have some super chats that I want to get to real quick. And I think they're both about Goodyear. Mr. Anti-Ant says, Goodyear having a hard time at the Brickyard again? Yeah, I think that was kind of to be expected with COVID. And also, Vote Kyle 3000 says, are you still calling for a tire war after this week? Well, the way I would say it is that at least one tire company probably would have gotten it right? Ooh. So if you had 3 or 4 there, you probably have the same amount of tires blowing out. It'd just be less cars that had the tires. But I don't know. There's so many things that we need to talk about in this race. I will say this. No hat. What, were you expecting the Puma hat? Do I need to go get it?
Go all Puma hat on Goodyear, I think is what
Do I need to go get... Oh, that's what... Okay. Hold on. We're going to bring up Tyler Reddick again.
Get the dirty hat.
And I'm going to go get the Puma hat. I'll be right back. You talk and talk about some things, and then I'm going to go get the hat.
All right, I'm bring the chat up. So I can't bring it up on the screen because it's not, my stream obviously, but if you take a look at the point standings, I want to point something out. Not point standings, okay, you get it. Austin Dillon is currently 16th in the point standings. Austin Dillon, if the playoffs started today, Austin Dillon would be in the points. And even with missing a race, Jimmy's still in. But Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., they're sitting 18th, 19th, and 20th. And Stenhouse is 48 points back. Reddick is 16. That is very impressive. 16th to 20th, except for Jones, because I would expect Jones to be a little higher. But man, the point standings right now, those group of guys is going to be entertaining as heck to watch. See if they can make it into the playoffs or the chase, whichever one you want to say. I like to say chase, but I was saying playoffs to be correct. Is he back, or is that just Goodyear still blowing up in the background? Other than that, it wasn't quite the 2017 finish I think we all thought it was going to be. but it was still interesting. I mean, it was a clean race, at least, I guess, compared to 17. Bring up this chat. I hope Matt Kenseth gets that close again. A-Dub Wilson. Thought Austin Dillon was going to win this race. I didn't get to see the wreck after the finish. Was that Austin's fault? Did he wreck Matt DiBenedetto? Oh, yeah, CM3, you did call that Lando podium. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw that. Yep, Johnson, 36 points to the good. So he will at least have to miss, 2, maybe 3 races. Probably 3. So being 36 points to the good, he actually is going to be still in contention, I think, by the time he gets back. Wishing Jimmy Johnson a speedy recovery. It's going to be something more interesting to watch. It was DiBenedetto's fault.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, let me get the Nuggy Reddick away. Here we go. Dirty.
Are those even nuggies? I thought those were biscuits. But
are they biscuits?
They're biscuits.
Look at this. Look at this sunscreen spot on this hat right here, where I always grab it with sunscreen on. It's pretty sexy, huh? Wow, look at how much hair I have.
I was talking about the point
So much hair. Did I see a super chat that I haven't talked about?
I think it was one of them before.
No, this is a new one. Lex Sells Merch says, what do you think is more likely this year? Bell, Reddick, Custer win, or Dibby first career win / Wood Brothers first win?
100th win.
Yeah, I think DiBenedetto would be my pick.
I don't know. Reddick?
He could luck into one, but I think on speed, goodness gracious.
Remember Homestead? He probably could have won it at Homestead on speed. I mean,
I didn't watch Homestead.
Fell the right way. Oh, you didn't? Yeah. Well, he could have won Homestead on speed if something were to happen.
Oh, the background music is still going.
That was a legitimate third place car.
I forgot the background music is still on. I'm sorry about that. I meant to turn that off, but I didn't. Yeah, the Puma hats for David looks like Colton. Yeah, like 2 Coltons combined, but yeah, sure. The real
dirty Puma hat. Dirty Puma hat.
Oh, it's filthy. No, Chris Cologne has it right. It's filthy. And it's one of those things that you don't notice your breath stinks until somebody tells you. The Puma hat's the same way. Didn't realize it was so dirty until I've been told, but now I kind of want to keep it filthy because it's kind of funny.
Super chat, Jay Barker.
Oh, y'all need to come out to Iowa in a few weeks.
I want to go to Iowa at some point.
The problem is that we're going to Road America.
Yeah.
Literally 2 days from now, I get on the plane, and I get to find out what it's like to fly in the era of COVID, which is going to be fun. But we'll see how that goes.
It's just kind of hitting me this week. I'm not buying my tickets until I leave. Like I just because of I could wake up tomorrow and it could be over. Like I just don't trust anything in the coronavirus time.
I'm kind of worried. Wide Puma hat. You really got to watch the hat. If we got 323 people in here, if this stream gets 350 likes, I will watch the Puma hat. There we go.
There's going to be some people that are going to be indifferent on that, and they're not going to like it purposely so you don't watch it.
That's fine. I've set the goal. I've set the goal. Now it's up to the people to decide whether it happens or not. But what was we're talking about Road America. Why are we talking about Road America? Go to an Outlaws race. I've already been to an Outlaws race. Not like the official. Outlaw sprint cars, they got the wangs on them, man.
No, you went... Dude. This is why I'm making content on sprint. You didn't go to an Outlaws race this year.
But it's not World of Outlaws. But Outlaw sprint cars are things with wings on them.
No, that's just a wing sprint car, bud. What's
the difference between an Outlaw sprint and a wing sprint, though?
There is not an Outlaw sprint.
There's not an Outlaw sprint.
It is a 410 sprint car.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an Outlaw sprint car. People who run 410 sprint cars weekly in the World of Outlaw sprint cars are the same sprint cars.
They're setting off the goddamn artillery next door. Sounds like a war going on outside. They're shooting at each other, it seems like. Kevin Harvick now has 37 playoff points when you incorporate the regular season bonus, and the championship is in Phoenix. He's winning for sure. Mm. Good point. Good point. I kind of want to see what the we already had 129 likes on the Puma hat, so we'll keep an eye on that as the night goes on. So we should talk about this race, I think, because there's a lot of things. Yeah, I'm getting shot out by the people who didn't like the fact that the bricks didn't get burned out on this weekend. So I guess we'll start. Oh God, I don't even know what we can talk about. What do we need to talk about first, Chad? There are so many.
Pit lane crash.
The pit lane crash. Pop. Indeed. Well, just chat. That's another thing you can do is guess how much my neighbors spent on fireworks this year. That'll be fun. But yeah, the pit lane crash. Well, I want to hear your thoughts on this, Kyle, real quick, because I'm kind of interested to hear a different opinion before I kind of start spouting off.
Yeah.
What?
On what? Oh, on the pit lane?
On the pit lane crash.
What do you mean opinion?
What do you think about it?
I think Brennan Poole. I mean, Brennan Poole. I thought it was just like he had like nowhere to go, but Brennan Poole literally had like a couple feet to his right, and he could have came to a stop earlier, but instead he tried to avoid cars by going way to the left, and he hit a guy. Mm-hmm. That's what I saw. I mean, I at first I thought that he had no room, but if you watch like to the right of Poole, I mean, even Allgaier. See how Allgaier like literally squeezed through? He like nicked the guy, but he didn't run into him like Poole did.
Well, yeah, that was definitely the thing that sucked about this particular Brickyard 400 is that somebody actually got hurt,
yeah.
which sucks. The crew member. I'm going to try to get the footage up here for the chat to see. I don't know, man. It again, my question was always like, why? It just goes back to me kind of questioning why we do competition cautions at this point. I don't, because you had 40 cars or whatever on the lead lap, and I know it could have happened on any caution, but in a track position race, the time you make up on pit lane is so important. It's one of those things that I think you're asking for trouble. I mean, we see it in the Indy 500 every year. I mean, I'm scared to death. Yeah. Every time there's 30 cars on the lead lap at the Indy 500, and they're all going down the pits, and you got all those exposed bodies down there.
Because Indy's not a wide pit lane, like it's
like the narrow.
That was like
most narrow that NASCAR
that was
uses.
kind of like a thing that felt kind of inevitable, you know.
Sure.
Being that narrow.
And again, it's good that it wasn't like an Atlanta situation like from the 80s. It could have been, but it could have been that. That's the thing. I mean, those cars were carrying a significant amount of energy when they hit, and it's just lucky that they didn't. Okay, we'll add the pit lane crash.
I want to find the one angle that I saw.
Where did I save the? Is this it? I think.
Yeah. See, I mean, Brennan Poole's and they were because Allgaier and Poole, they went like left as fast as they could, and then Poole had such a gap between the car to his right and the guy who he hit. I get everything happens fast, but to avoid hitting another car, he hit a pit crew member. I mean, I don't understand. Like he should have just stopped instead of following Allgaier. But like you said, the time to make up in pit lane is huge. So
why isn't this saving? Hold on. We're having technical difficulties here. There's the sound. Why is the sound saving? Save video as. Yes, replace it. I don't know why that other one wasn't working. Open folder. Okay, that should.
You got this. You got this.
I know.
I believe in you.
Well, it's just this Streamlabs takes a while to get everything together.
I believe in you.
God almighty. Do you hear those fireworks?
You got those. Yeah. It's July 5th. I don't understand.
It's Sunday, though. If they were visiting Grandma.
They start coming on pit road, and they just...
Are we going already? Sorry if I just blew everybody's eardrums out. I think I did.
Yeah, he literally hit Blaney's car too.
Let's move.
He avoided the car to his right. You would think that I mean, sitting on the left side of the car, you would think that Blaney would be the car that he would have easily avoided rather than the car on the right. But
okay, hold on. Let's get that to where it's actually you can actually see it. I think that's where it needs to go. Why is this not? Oh. Okay, it's gone now. Why did it go? Why did it go away?
I can see it. I can see the
I know.
flash on the screen right now.
I put it up. Oh, because I didn't loop it. Loop.
Here's this. They start coming
Done.
on pit road, and they just all got stacked up right there.
And the
Good
camera
job.
went out, but that doesn't matter.
One
because,
driver had to slow up because of a guy turning into his pits, and then they just all
and the media
stacked
source
up.
is playing. This is a disaster. I need
Good
to
job,
integrate
David.
this stuff better.
You did it.
There, I
You
think
did it,
we've
David.
got
Good
everything.
job.
They're probably screaming about echo. I'm guessing they're screaming about echo right now. Let's have a look here. So, I'm seeing what you guys are seeing right now. And I haven't seen this since it aired live. Yeah, it's just a mess. You know
if you
what?
see it from the back, if you see it on the back, watch Brennan Poole.
I was looking at it from the back. We just cut away to the other one. You know what? You know what part of this is the fact that they didn't have qualifying, and they didn't get to set the pits because you had fast guys who usually don't pit in the back, pitting in the back, and
yeah, this backside view. You just watch Brennan Poole, the yellow car behind Allgaier, and then watch. They literally they looks like they gun it when they see all the pack to get away from it, and Poole tries to follow Allgaier, and then obviously Allgaier hits somebody, and I mean Poole. Even if there was a clear gap there, the direction Poole took to the left, there was no way he was missing Blaney's crew. Like I don't.
Boy, from the wide angles, it's really hard to see the crew member get hit.
Yeah,
this
you don't,
doesn't have
the only angle. There's only like one angle on like the ground level that you see the crew member get hit. But yeah, if you see the just look for the car behind Allgaier.
Yeah, which is Poole. Yeah,
white car.
Yeah.
Just watch him. He has so much room on his left, man.
Okay,
so much room.
Let me
He
see.
literally
I'm
just turned
focusing
left into the
well,
pit box.
I can try to do like a super zoom here. Let's try to.
I mean, what do you think about that?
Well, I need to see it again, and for whatever reason, whatever the hell that is, I've just expanded it. I didn't mean to expand it. Oh, that's my freaking Elgato. So I don't know how. What did I name this source here? I named it media source. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I'll try to zoom in and see exactly what Kyle is talking about here. So watch
Brennan Poole, the yellow and white car.
Watch the yellow and white car just behind the Ally car.
Yeah. Look how much room he has to his right. Driver's right. Allgaier, and obviously Allgaier is further to the right, and that's why he hits someone. But the point is, he missed the crew member.
Well, we got to wait for it to run through again. I want to see it one more time here because I zoomed it in. So you're saying on the right, he had room.
Oh, yeah, on his right, yeah. He follows Allgaier, and Allgaier actually, if the other angle of the guy, when Allgaier went past Blaney's crew, the guy who got hit actually skaged through Allgaier. Allgaier made it past Blaney's crew, and then he just got nailed by Poole.
I'm seeing it right now. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I don't, because the problem is it's kind of like that plate race. It's kind of plate racing in some respects because it's a driver who is unsighted because of that big-ass spoiler, as Dale Jr. would say. I think that probably had something to do with it, too.
I mean, if he was just following Allgaier, then still, Allgaier is way further to the
But Allgaier had to make a really aggressive move to miss the Penske. Yeah. If Poole is unsighted, and that's what it looks like. I mean, I'm not saying 100% it's not his fault. I'm not saying it's not his fault, but I think some people are really like blaming him hard for that. And I again, it's just just a bad deal. It's a bad deal. Again, I'm just glad everybody's alive and not seriously injured. I don't remember the crew member's name, but he was kind of a badass. But that's weird. But that is weird. It's unlike it's unlike a lot of times we see in NASCAR, because you've got Truex back there, you've got Blaney pitted way in the back, and it's weird. It's just different than it usually is. And there's no practice, and there's no qualifying. All these things. Yeah, it's just
also, shout out to Homeboy who hopped on the roof.
That was crazy. I wish I had an angle of that. It's kind of hard to see from this. This
is just one guy. You can see him. Just man's got hops. Boom.
He's a big boy too.
Boom. He did that in one jump. Just boom onto the roof.
Well, they always say those pit crew members are they train them like true athletes. And
Can you imagine being Blaney, you just hear like a big thud on your roof.
Oh, dude! The thing is, I'm sure the crew member or the drivers are always freaked out about this sort of thing, because I remember when Sato hit his guys last year in Texas. Now we got the cops coming now. You hear that? Jesus! If we set a tree on fire yet, is that what's gonna happen? We're gonna get
his name was Zach Price.
Gonna get to have a drama alert here in a second. Zach Price. Okay, let's get rid of this replay. Let me see if I can actually find. There we go. Hey, I didn't move my Elgato around too much, so that's good.
Good job. You're learning technology.
I am. Wow, we got 423 people in here right now. Thank you guys all for coming in. If you don't like how dirty my Puma hat is, you can hit the like button. We're trying to see if we're going to get 350 likes for me to go wash it. If not, I'm going to have dirty, stinky Puma hat going on right now. So we've talked about the pit lane crash. I think now is a good time to talk about the package, because I think most of the race was defined by the package. The finish was really good, but everything in between wasn't the worst Brickyard I've ever seen. I will say that. But some of it was tough to watch because the restarts were, again, I feel like I say this every time I talk about this package. The restarts were the most crucial thing. You get about a lap and a half where there's really some stuff that can happen, and then once the cars kind of establish themselves in the order single file, that's it, until they get the lap traffic, or until somebody's tire blows out, or a freak of nature situation happens. This is the kind of track that the package really gets exposed at. I think we saw it at Pocono last week. We've seen it here this week. I think there was a lot of competitive cars today, and it's a shame that we didn't get to really see them duke it out. I mean, the stages have something to do with that too, and I could rant about the stages, because like the last stage of this race I thought was really cool. It felt almost like an Indy 500, where you had the differing strategies between Hamlin and Harvick. That was really interesting. And then you had Kenseth on that alternate strategy, which was really spectacular, I thought. Because there was the way the race kind of played out, it kind of played out naturally, so that there was a couple of different guys that were potentially going to run up front. And I guess Kenseth got helped out because of that dirty air. That was another thing that the commentators didn't even really pick up on. They kind of started to mention it because they were like, wow, Kenseth is running really fast. And I'm like, yeah, because he has clean air. When Harvick and Hamlin came out of the pits, they were in traffic. So even though they had fresh tires, they weren't really able to run very fast. I mean, we've seen that with this package a lot too, where fresh tires don't mean as much anymore, because if you can get out front and just hang on, and that was one of the reasons why I was confused, is why it didn't matter anyway because his tire blew out, but why Bowman didn't race Harvick way harder to stay on the lead lap right before that end of that stage, because he was just coming up to speed. If he'd blocked Harvick into turn one, and it would have been a controversial move, no doubt about it, but from a strategy standpoint, I was very confused as to why Bowman didn't try harder to stay on the lead lap. And maybe Harvick just caught him at the right time, but I was a bit confused about that. What did you think about the package?
It's like a bite of potato right when you asked me.
Well, is it like a whole potato, or?
All right.
Is it like
I
just a
thought
raw potato you're just eating?
no.
Oh, okay.
Why would I be eating it? Yes, fine, yes. I thought the package was all right. Honestly, it wasn't the worst package at Indianapolis. But the thing that's weird to me is it was the same package as last year, and it felt like it was a little bit better than it was last year. I think it was because of the conditions.
Yeah.
Honestly, getting way later into the day and the cooler temps, but it was all right. I definitely don't. I don't know what you can do at Indianapolis to make it any better.
More power.
Downforce. I mean, 2017 was an awesome race. That was because of circumstances. So I don't know. I thought it was all right. Definitely wasn't the worst.
I think they need less grip. I think they've got too much aero grip. I mean, that's the big problem. I think if they cleaned the air up a little bit, I mean, they could even run with low horsepower. I really think the fact that the cars can't run close in the corners is the big issue.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. Less downforce. What do you think about horsepower?
I don't know, because they've run high horsepower there before and it hasn't been very good.
Maybe low horsepower, low down.
That's what I was.
Low
That's what I was
downforce.
saying. Essentially, try to copy Indy Lights.
That could be it. Yeah.
But
Because the thing is, if you do high horsepower, then it just becomes so. If you make it harder to drive in the corners, then I don't think you'd get as what you'd be looking for. I think the way to do it is just less dirty air. I think that's the only way. I mean, maybe with the
harder
not sure.
tires. Interesting question. Well, the problem with harder tires is that you just make that performance gap smaller between the fastest and the slowest guys. I mean, because that's the problem IndyCar has had a couple of times on the road courses where they have a tire choice. If they make the hard tire or the soft tire too hard, where it lasts almost as long as the black harder tire, then the race sucks because you no longer have that kind of differing strategy. Like, it doesn't matter if you change two tires on every stop. In the example of NASCAR, if they had a really hard tire, because they're so it. I understand like the balancing act, but I mean, I guess we'll naturally kind of move into this topic, which is the tires. Now I want to be totally fair here, because there is this COVID-19 situation where you've had a lot of shutdowns, particularly in factories. Now I didn't hear this, this is my speculation, but the fact that Firestone had the trouble getting tires to Texas, and that's why you had mandated stint lengths at that track. I wonder what tire Goodyear brought here. Was it a brand new tire? Was it one they had developed? Or was it one that had been used previously in another year and maybe wasn't right for this track? I don't know. But the fact that Goodyear still really doesn't have a handle on the diamond ground surface is a bit head scratching, to say the least, because it's over 10 years since they first had an issue with it. But I mean, it is pretty unacceptable when the leader of the race has a tire blowout and he crashes heavily. So
yeah.
That's the question. Elite Fight says, doesn't NASCAR want this package for next gen? Yes, but I guess the one change they're kind of making is the car is even, right? Like, it doesn't have the skew like the cars do now.
I thought maybe it did.
It does? Because I thought they were trying to get rid of the side force. I could be wrong.
I think maybe it still does.
And it does have 6 gears in it too. So that's another thing that they could theoretically, if they have like a spec gearbox or something, they could open up the gear ratios and let the teams just have at it in terms of gear ratios, and that may help a little bit. Because if you have, say, remember how Pocono worked, not in the Cup Series.
They could already do that, basically.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Look at the 2 Pocono races where in the Xfinity Series they could shift, and in Cup they couldn't. and it seemed like the drivers were kind of choosing whether they wanted to shift or not. Chase Briscoe was shifting, the rest of the field wasn't. Chase Briscoe ends up winning that race. I think he found an advantage from going down a gear into third and then going back up into fourth. So let's say there's it's like it becomes like an IndyCar race where you have 3 or 4 top gears, and when you're in the draft, you can just keep pulling gears and constantly have that torque curve kind of in the right place, and that may lead to some passing, because that's kind of what you see with IndyCar is that they kind of decide whether or not they're going to make the move based on where they are in the gearbox. You see in the Indy 500, for example, all the time they get a big run, they go up like 3 gears, they're about to hit 6th, and then they're looking to turn 1 and they're not close enough, and they back off, they click a couple gears down, and then try to get a run on the next straightaway. Maybe that's where NASCAR's trying to go with the package, but I have no idea. I don't know. That's just I'm just
also
guessing.
sequential. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to make a huge difference, especially because they're still using a stick. I mean, the gears now might as well be sequential. They don't use the clutch. Well. It's like driving a Formula Ford. That's how it was for me. Get that dog box, baby. Just use that clutch on the way in and the way out. Hell yeah, brother. But some drivers still use the clutch on the road courses, though.
Yeah,
but it's just kind of a driving style thing.
What I thought was you at least use it only on the road course. I've seen they use it to go up gears, and then when they're downshifting, all they do is just kind of blip.
Xfinity was way better than IndyCar. Yeah, I mean it was. IndyCar was definitely the worst race of the. Well, wait, no, hang on. Was IndyCar worse than? No, IndyCar had less BS, but that's down to rules. I don't know. I guess you would say the more pure race between IndyCar and NASCAR was IndyCar, but I think entertainment-wise, it was probably Brickyard. Xfinity was better across the board. Of the 3 races, Xfinity easily was the best race. I don't think anybody's going to dispute that, and that would be interesting. Daman, Canadian, $5 per Team Penske. Zach Price, treated and released from the hospital, will return to Charlotte with the team for further evaluation. Well, that's good. Again, it's obviously not ideal for him to get hit, but it's good to hear that he's been released already. That probably means there's not really super serious injuries. That sounds to me like he probably will have a week off, but considering the alternative, I think... my God. Considering the alternative, I think that that's really good to hear. Very good news. Very good news. We're seeing the pure racing is better than entertaining racing. That's an interesting debate. That is an interesting debate. But I would agree. I think. I'll say it this way. Again, it doesn't matter because there technically weren't spectators there, but there were spectators there, by the way.
There were spectators.
They were just outside the track, congregating without face masks, by the way. If they'd been in the track, they would have. Most of them probably would have had face masks on. Just saying, Mr. Mayor. But the the thing I wanted to point out was I think from a spectator standpoint, the IndyCar race probably would have been better if you're like sitting in the stands, because I don't know about you guys, but when I'm sitting at a race, when I'm watching an auto race, I want to see green flag running. And one of the big criticisms I'd have with this race was, my God, there was a lot of downtime at the start. Again, at the end, when there was long green flag runs, and you had green flag pit stops, you had strategy, I thought it was really compelling at the end of this race. But like the first 100 laps are just such a slog these days with all the yellows. Yes, the Puma hat is looking a bit dirty, and if we get 350 likes, I'll wash it. But if not, if you guys want to keep it dirty, we'll keep it dirty. It's up to you guys. But yeah. I don't know. What do you think? We're blowing up the.
You live in it's like a suburb. There's.
Oh, I live. Yeah. Well, we're changing that. COVID, unfortunately, kind of slowed that. I feel like I've talked about this on stream like 3 or 4 times already. But believe me, this lockdown makes me want to move. So.
Well, what it's like there's no way you live in the middle of nowhere like I do. So it's like, are they allowed to shoot fireworks? Like,
Oh, we'll find out. There's a fire station right down the road, so
That's what I'm wondering. Within 2 days, I haven't heard a single firework. Like,
well, because you live in the boondocks. I live in like
yeah,
a city.
it's like it's easy to get away with it where I am. For
Oh
you,
God,
like they're
it's
really
not even
risking
it's not
it.
even getting away with it. It's like you shoot off fireworks in the freaking in the boonies. Who cares?
It feels like it would be harder to get away with it where you live.
Taras Shevchenko, run Indy Oval 1 for the final turn on the road course. I would say that maybe for IndyCar, but for Xfinity, I thought there was passing created because they went and took that chicane.
Yeah, for IndyCar, if you added that last corner to be the oval 1, you would actually create more of a passing zone for turn 1, I think.
Yeah, because oftentimes when they come out of that corner on the road course, they have a run, but by the time they've got like the run set up, they have to stop again.
Because remember, Braden told us that's exactly why they added that chicane on the back straight.
What
it's
city?
Like the same
Kabul.
philosophy.
Those are gunshots, not fireworks, David. Don't trust me. They're fireworks.
You hope.
I hope. I haven't seen any bullet holes come in but you never know. You never know. I'll get on drama alert if it happens. But didn't even realize Almirola had his 5th straight top 5. And that's how many races have we run post lockdown? Most of them. That would probably.
It's been a couple.
It hasn't. He hasn't gotten a top 5 every single time. But Lando David, let's talk about that F1 race. Says Joey Mathewitz. We'll talk about F1 a little bit, and then we'll finish up with Cup.
I was asleep.
Okay, so I'll talk about it. I missed the first 12 laps, but apparently I didn't miss much. I literally turned it on and Verstappen had broken down. So that's kind of where I came in. And I thought, again, everybody bitches about F1 all the time. They say how boring it is and blah, X, Y, Z. F1, this rules package that they have right now, this rule set, Mercedes is the dominant car, no doubt about it. But I have seen some of the most exciting F1 races ever, that I've ever personally seen, like within the last 12 months. And this was no exception. You had mechanical reliability, which was a factor which hasn't been a factor in F1 for a very long time. I thought that was an extremely compelling part of this race. And when you had the tire strategy come into play at the very end, where you had Mercedes both on 2 cars with hard tires and their gearboxes were failing, and then you have Alexander Albon on the super soft tire, and he's coming up through the field, and eventually, of course, Lewis Hamilton took him out. We can talk about that till the cows come home, but eventually Alexander Albon will win a Grand Prix. It just he's going to have to hope that Hamilton blows up before he gets to him to try to pass him. But Hamilton, because he took Albon out, got a 5-second penalty, and then suddenly you have this compelling battle for second and third with Charles Leclerc, who came up through the field. Again, everybody was talking about how the Ferrari sucks. They were terrible in qualifying.
Even Leclerc was talking about how the Ferrari sucks.
Yeah, but it's pretty clear that they chose the right driver to continue on with, because I kind of made the comparison that it was like when Alonso kind of dragged Ferrari from a mid-pack car in the early 2010s up into like championship contention, while you're looking at it again with Charles Leclerc. Racing Point, very, very smart, copying the Mercedes. Maybe wasn't the smartest thing in the world to do before COVID. Post-COVID, where there's going to be stricter regulations and guidelines on how much you can develop the car, starting with a base that's very similar to the fastest car in the field, is incredibly smart. It was a shame that they didn't get a podium, but who did get a podium was Lando Norris because of that, and it was a really exciting last lap where Hamilton was kind of held up by Bottas. He tried to catch up to Bottas because he had to make up that 5-second penalty, and Lando Norris put in a hell of a flyer at the very end, pipped Hamilton by I think 0.3 of a second, and got on the podium. And this time we finally get to see the McLaren driver on the podium rather than have it be awarded at the end of the race like we saw in Brazil last year. But I thought Formula One, it was great. And we get to see another race at Austria, I think, next weekend. So that's awesome. More races at good, old-fashioned, non-tilt drums. Even though I know Hermann Tilke designed the new Austria, it's not a Tilkedrome. There's not a bunch of stop-start, a lot of fast corners, a lot of exciting racing, and grass and gravel tracks. It's great. When you make a mistake, you crash. And I don't mean I don't wish crashes on people, but I think racing is better when there's consequences, and F1 is certainly better when there's consequences for making stupid moves. And so it was exciting. So good race overall, yeah. So let's finish talking about NASCAR, because we probably lost like 100 viewers talking about F1 in the middle of a NASCAR stream, and I know, got a super chat about it. But so let's continue with the Goodyear talk, and then we'll finish it up with kind of complaining, and then we'll talk about kind of the exciting finish. So we saw we saw Ryan Newman, Eric Jones, Alex Bowman, and Denny Hamlin. And
Correct.
It was, I wish I would have tweeted this because I would have been Nostradamus, because towards the end of that stint, especially looking at the tire situation where Hamlin and Kenseth, not Kenseth, Harvick and Hamlin had about 10 laps older tires than the rest of the field. I remember thinking to myself, like, in the back of my mind, I was like, I wonder if the tires are going to go on the leaders. And then I was like, well, I can't even remember the last time a tire blew out on a leader, right? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think. I mean, the chat will know. So chat, when was the last time, because to my memory, I can't remember the last time a leader of a NASCAR race had a tire blow up. F1 needs to have more mechanical DNFs. I agree. But I'm trying to, this was a unique situation, and I guess it goes back to that Tony Kanaan quote that the track chooses the winner at Indianapolis. Goodyear chose the winner this time, though. But William Byron did have another one, too. Yeah, that's right. Who was that? Patrick? Yeah, that was another one. I thought that was contact, but on that replay, it didn't show it. And you're right, Thomas, there were some serious hits today. Thank God for those safer barriers, that's for sure, because there were some major hits. Christian Eckes last week at Pocono, that's right. I guess Cup would I should have been more specific. The Cup and Xfinity race, trucks and Xfinity last week at Pocono both had that happen.
Oh yeah.
So
forget about the Xfinity one because he actually went on to win the race.
Well, I meant Cup. And that was kind of what Kyle Busch at Auto Club. That was an Xfinity race, though. When was the last time it happened in Cup? Ryan Newman Texas Race 1 in 2018. I don't remember that. Do you remember that?
No.
Chase Elliott earlier this year. When did Chase Elliott lose a tire? While leading?
But I feel like that's happened.
It sounds like something that would have happened, but I don't remember it very well. This was memorable. This one was memorable. I will say that. We're gonna remember the tire for a long time with Hamlin. And it seems like every memorable Brickyard seems to have a tire failure. Because even the first one, think about it. Ernie Irvan lost a tire while leading, and Jeff Gordon passed him for the win. So that's maybe tires have always been a problem at Indianapolis, even in the 90s. So let's talk about the strategy with Kenseth and the rest of the field, because the commentators, I know I've talked about this a little bit earlier, but the commentators were talking about how they were confused why Kenseth was staying out and making up so much time. And like I said in the past, it's really a package thing. Sure, new tires are good because new tires generally don't blow out, and that's probably why you don't want to, push the tires too far. But I thought it was a great strategy for Matt Kenseth to kind of pit off sequence. I know a lot of people did, but off sequence from the leaders. Get new tires or newer tires than the leaders, and then stay out, because he didn't lose all that much time running by himself in clean air, especially when the others came out of the pits in traffic. And then he got that yellow that was beneficial from Alex Bowman hitting the wall. And that really set him up well. Again, he didn't probably have the car to win, but he had a car to stay up front. And, I think a lot of people were rooting for him. I won't say I was rooting for him, but I thought it would have been a cool story to see McDonald's back in victory lane for the first time since '94 in Talladega. And Matt Kenseth, the commentator said he would have been the oldest driver ever to win at Indianapolis. That's the thing that's crazy to me, is that Kenseth is older than Al Sr. was when he won in '87, the 500, Indy 500. And if you look at Al Sr. Photos or videos of him from that year, he looks like way older than Matt Kenseth does. And Matt Kenseth in current year is older than Al Sr. was in '87. David, did you see the camera pit work? The IMSA guy was awesome. Yeah, the IMSA camera guy in the pits is insane. He is crazy. He's nutso. Let's talk a little bit about IMSA. Just a little bit. What do you say?
Sure.
You watched the IMSA race last. You in fact watched it more than I did. So tell me some things you saw from IMSA, and then we'll kind of talk to the chat about the NASCAR race.
Corvette got their first win.
That's the big story. That's the big story.
That was insane. And then Prototype, it started off in the wet, like I mentioned yesterday when it happened. And Wayne Taylor in the 31 car, so they went on a different strategy in the beginning, and it didn't work out for him. There was an awesome battle for the lead, and then one of the Acura's blowed up and got caught on fire. And the Mazdas, they showed pace in Daytona earlier this year, obviously, in the pole. But they finally put it in. They obviously finished the 24 finally, but they put it all together in the sprint race and won the thing. I believe they finished second, too, as well. So, yeah, Mazda with a crazy performance at Daytona. GTD, I believe, it was the Lexus that won. I can't quite remember which one it was, but yeah,
it was not Townsend Bells. It was Aaron Telitz and Jack Hawksworth.
Yeah, Aaron Telitz. Oh man, Aaron Telitz and Jack.
Talk
Hawksworth.
About a super silver.
That's a super lineup right there. Telitz is a guy who was in Indy Lights for a season or two. Actually, Aaron Telitz got like a 4-race thing with Bilardi last year, and he actually won Toronto in like a few starts. So Aaron Telitz is a guy who's been through the Indy Lights category a couple times. I don't think Toronto was his first win last year either. He's actually won some races, but just hasn't been able to get the budget. He's the guy that was trying to fund his career by selling his paintings because he's an artist.
Good to see John in the chat. John actually races Mazdas in real life. Good Mazda day yesterday. They're good in those sprint races, Mazda.
Yeah.
They figured out the endurance races. They were second at Daytona.
They figured out how to finish the 24. So.
And I was just about to get to that point, John. Is that Mazda has switched their teams? They are now fully under the Multimatic brand, which Multimatic, if you don't know, builds their chassis. Multimatic bought Lola, and now they build prototype chassis, and they build the Mazda. And so when Yost, which used to run the Audi program, moved away, there was some sort of disagreement or just their contract lapsed with Mazda, and it was essentially the program has now been taken in-house by the chassis manufacturer and Mazda.
One thing that was sad last night was the McLaren that got the pole had that. Well, they had the penalty for not taking the reconnaissance lap, so they had to start from the pit lane and do a drive-through, and so they were like 2 laps down, and they couldn't come back from that. It would have been a little interesting to me to see the McLarens actually in the mix, but the Lexuses had the good BOP. And the interesting thing I thought about Prototype was I believe the only BOP that happened before this was the Acuras were sped up, I think.
Yes.
And they still...
In both classes.
Yeah, they still weren't quite with them. I mean, nobody was really with the Mazdas, but yeah, they still weren't quite there.
Suchi Men oh god, I can't say his name because it's a meme. But he says he's going to his first IndyCar race at Iowa. Any tips for me? Able to like have the access that you wouldn't be able to ordinarily.
Yeah, normally we tell you get the garage pass and walk around and see what's going on and just enjoy being in the garage, do the grid walk, all those type of things.
Yes.
But
I mean, just enjoy it. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Harvick.
That sounds.
No, Jeff. Right, that's who we're talking about.
Yeah.
But Jeff wouldn't have won.
Probably.
Interesting. Bubba Wallace back in the fight for the playoffs.
He is. It's like 40-some points back.
I don't know if he'll make it.
16th to like 20th is really interesting right now. And Eric Jones just keeps getting screwed. Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Eric Jones has speed like every week. And it's just something.
Aren't there rumors that he's getting replaced?
Yeah, because this is contract year, remember? And they were going to decide between him or Christopher Bell at the end of the year.
And there's rumors that Larson's going to go to the 95.
Yeah.
I had heard that at one point. Gabe Marquez says, David, 2-man or 4-man booth? It depends on it depends on the person, doesn't it? I mean, I would split the difference and go 3.
I would say 1-man booth and make them be quiet and let us hear the cars. At least 2. I don't think there should be as much commentary as there is. Like, give us more pure sound.
There
like,
needs to be good.
Just tell us
more
tell
good
us what's
commentary.
going on, but like get all the extra nonsense out of the way in pre-race and let us hear the cars.
Can we talk about start times?
Yeah.
Can we talk about start times?
That was the worst.
This weekend was ridiculously late. Ridiculously late. So the original green flag time was like 4:20, 4:30, somewhere around there.
Nice.
Ridiculously late. Like, you're throwing the green... Man. And this was a shorter Brickyard 400 than we've had in the past. Some of them have gone way longer than the one we had today. And, I mean, the IndyCar race yesterday, and this is not an IndyCar NASCAR comparison, this is literally a start time comparison. They started at noon yesterday. The weather was perfect. They got the whole race in. You had time for Xfinity. I don't, and without the excuse of having races before like, what were they doing? Again, next year may be a little bit different. Maybe there'll be an Indy Lights race before the Brickyard next year. You never know. But as it stands right now, that was way too late. Way too late in the day. And yes, IMSA did start an hour late. But IMSA specifically had a race that they were doing a time change on. This is a racetrack that does not have lights. And we're starting at 4:30. We've got a scheduled start time of 4:30. But instead we're starting at 5:20 was when the green flag actually ended up throwing. Dave, have you ever done Skip Barber? Used to be an instructor when they were at Cedars Point. No, I haven't. I have done racing school. It was kind of an abbreviated thing. It was through the SCCA. I've actually got a video on my channel if you'd like to check it out. Critique me. I always like to be critiqued. But yeah, I completed one in a Formula Ford. I'd love to do Skip Barber though. I'd love a little bit more advanced like driving technique lessons. But obviously things cost money. And of course, right now, half the world is locked down. Sometimes it's hard to go places and do things. But yeah, I think I would love to do Skip Barber again, or do again. I would love to do Skip Barber. Period. I think that would be. I think it'd be fun. I think it would be fun. Or like Lucas Oil Racing School or whatever they call it now, or Bertilli Roos, whatever that thing is. I think they bought the old Skip Barber cars. I would like to do open wheel cars though, or prototypes. That'd be fun. But they were supposed to do qualifying before the race. Yeah, you're right. And that's the weird thing about it is,
4 is still awfully late
well, yeah, even with
with
qualifying. But they want to run qualifying at noon, right? Or 1 o'clock for
Well,
TV.
last year they ran it at like 10 or 11.
Okay, then I don't understand why they.
Like
Well,
if you
because they
ran
had
qualifying at like 10 or 11,
Did
and then
they
you
run the
and then you had a race at like 1, then it's fine.
Yeah, yeah. The IndyCar rating went up. Yeah, it did. It wasn't as good as the Xfinity race, but they were within like 400,000 people between the two. And quite honestly, Roger Penske again has got an A+ from me. First 2 races on NBC, they kept the momentum from Texas, which I thought was going to be a major key for the series going forward. I guess the one thing you could say, and I saw a few people on Twitter saying this, is, oh, well, I wish they would have put on a better show. Well, yeah, I would have too, because you probably would have, if you put on a race, like I said, if you put on the Texas race from last year and the Indy GP from last year, and you put those races back to back and put them on NBC, you probably have higher TV ratings. But you kind of got to take the small W's, and I would say that this is a small W right now. So we'll have to see what happens at Road America when you get to, first of all, there's one race on NBCSN. What are those ratings going to look like? Probably not very good. But there's a second race that's going to be on NBC, and we'll see what that does. We will see what that does. I'm trying to get into IndyCar and Formula One, but it seems so much different. Well, different isn't always a bad thing. And one thing I will say, I guess you're coming from the NASCAR side of things. I think like there are similarities. Like you almost have to treat them in some respects like you're watching different sports. Like they'd have different rules. It's like watching a basketball game versus a football game in some respects. I mean, obviously there's a lot more similarities in terms of how the competition is done, but there's still so many specific rules and the cars are different and all that stuff. But I think people, because I'm one of those people who can enjoy a stock car race and enjoy an outlaw sprint car race and enjoy IndyCar and F1, and I can watch it all and enjoy it, even if there's just different disciplines that are there. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be different. There's going to be a learning curve, but I think you'll enjoy it eventually. Kyle Busch going to win before the playoffs start? I don't know. He needs a practice day. I guess that's one thing that I do want to kind of talk about. Is there's some talk now about practice, and I think you need to practice on a big track like Indianapolis or Talladega. I think you just do. I feel like you can get away with no practice at short tracks like Bristol, Martinsville, even Darlington to a certain extent. But I think once you get to like a place like Indianapolis or Talladega, where you're going 200 miles an hour or close to it, and there's a potential that the tire could blow out, I think you want to establish what to expect on the weekend before you get to the race. But I don't know. I guess nobody outside of course, the crew member got hurt today. But I don't know if you want to keep taking those kind of chances. Joey Mathewitz says, as a NASCAR shill turned IndyCar/F1 fan, trust me, it's good to branch out. It is, Joey. It's fun. I like all racing. And I hope that comes across on this channel because it's fun to talk. I mean, I was thinking this week I was like looking at footage from the Pikes Peak hill climb, and I was like thinking to myself, like, how do I cover this on my YouTube channel and be able to explain it to people? Because it's so awesome. Like I was seeing this footage of a guy in a 92 True Sports IndyCar that still runs on the Pikes Peak hill climb, and it's like, holy crap. This is the coolest thing ever, and nobody talks about it. There's an electric car that set the track record there. They like took a Porsche 919 chassis and built a electric car, and the car makes sounds, and it's really cool. And it's electric. Like electric cars, an electric car holds the Pikes Peak hill climb record and beat it legitimately from like the petrol engine cars. But nobody talks about it. It's crazy. Daytona needs practice too. Yeah, I'm saying like the big tracks like Pocono, Indy, Daytona, Talladega, all those. G.I. Joe says all cup races should start at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. for the East Coast when they race on the West Coast. That's how I feel. What do you think, David? Well, I think for like night races you should start later if you're intending for it to be a night race. But I'm not a big fan of like the like afternoon to evening races. I think they're a bit silly. So I agree. I think 1 p.m. start for the, and I mean start, by start I mean don't be singing the anthem at 1 p.m. I mean green flag at 1 p.m. I think that's yes, and then 4 p.m. for the West Coast, or 4 p.m. for the East Coast, meaning 1 p.m. on the West Coast start time. I think those are perfectly reasonable times, and I think that's probably smarter to do. It takes IndyCar drivers a whole month to get ready for the Indy 500. So yes and no. If you ask the IndyCar drivers, some of them will tell you that there is too much practice time. But I think from the perspective of the show, from selling hot dogs, I think you need to run that much practice at the Indianapolis 500. But I do agree that you look at Pocono as a great example with IndyCar, at least. Like, they needed more practice than they had at that track. And they never got it, which kind of sucks. Night races should start at noon. What do you think about the start time, Kyle?
Should be noon.
Should be noon,
Definitely noon.
Like green flag at noon, or like sing the anthem at noon?
Green start at noon. Maybe green flag at 12:30. If anything, before 2. Before 2. Every time. I'm right there with you.
The firecracker races used to start at 10 a.m. Yeah, if you were watching on NBC, Dale Jr. # one of us, by the way, he was freaking lighting them up subtly. Because he was talking about the old Firecracker 400, and he was like, yeah, it was great. We got to go, and, they throw the green at 10 a.m. We'd be on the beach by 4. It's like... But, like, and I was like, he, like, literally used the start time of the race. I'm like, oh, you sly dog. You sly dog. You are throwing shade right now. You are throwing shade. Blaney's crew member not wearing his helmet. Right. No, I think he just got it knocked off by the big old blade. At least from that's what I saw. When it got pinched between the two cars, the freaking spoiler knocked his helmet off. It got in, like, I think he was wearing like one of those like bike helmets, and it got in between the spoiler. I think got in between the two holes in the helmet and just ripped it off. I think that's what happened. Again, he was really lucky. That guy was. Harvick is older at the time than Earnhardt. Was Earnhardt the oldest? Who won?
I'm gonna Google it.
Yeah, okay. Pretty good Dale Jr. impression. Okay, if you say so. Helmets don't fly off like that. Have you ever seen an NFL hit before where the helmet flies off? I mean, I'm not saying he didn't have it on 100%, but I mean, yeah. I mean, the helmet got knocked off. I mean, NASCAR will probably investigate it, but I'm not going to analyze whether or not the guy had his helmet on right. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Elliott was the oldest. It might have been Bill Elliott. Now the chat is saying Bill Elliott was the oldest. Next year, David, you should go to Pikes Peak. I'm thinking about it. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I would like to do it. I would probably need to find some people that I could talk to who know Pikes Peak, maybe some drivers, and just kind of like learn, go to school, so to speak. But I think it would be cool to cover it like as a first timer, be like, hey, I know some of this stuff, but I can, go and kind of be your eyes and ears there and be like, hey, this is what's going on. Because, I mean, there is some really cool stuff. Mark Martin
Harvick's 44, and Bill Elliott was 46.
Okay, so yeah, wow. I didn't realize Bill Elliott was that old. He had Chase when he was old then, didn't he? Good Lord. He would have had Chase when he was 40, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, no.
Because in those photos where Chase is in 2002,
yeah, that sounds kind of right.
He's like 6 years old. Maybe less than that. So maybe Bill would have had him at like 42. So there you go. Call Bobby Unser. Oh, we could. Yeah, Bobby. Actually, we got a connection to Bobby Unser because we both do our merch Merch from Race 92, Cow Cat shirts. You can get them. Use code 10% if you buy 2 of them. Use code David10 to save 10% when you buy 2 of them at Race 92. But yeah, we do have a connection to Bobby Unser because we both do our merch through Race 92. Look at that sponsored plug. Boom. Duman, 87. Elliott, 46 years. Harvick, 44, 7 months. Earnhardt, 44 years and 4 months. There you go. Have you guys talked about F1 yet? Yeah, we did. But if there's anything you think we should talk about, let us know. Because I think we covered most of it. But Chase is old. Chase isn't that. Chase is in his 20s. He's not that old. Steamy. Good Lord. Camera keeps coming up. Wash your hat. Well, how many likes have we got? We got 255. We need 100 more likes for me to wash the Puma hat. I said 350 likes will get us to wash the Puma hat. But right now, the Puma hat is staying filthy. So I think we'll stay on for about 15 more minutes, and then we'll get off of here. I'll text Unser right now. I'm sure he'd give you a crash course in pikes. Yes, John's also in there with the Unser clan. So yeah, John, let me know about the Unsers, or let the Unsers know I'm interested in finding out about Pikes Peak. I just brought my IndyCar branded face masks. Can we go to the races now? We can go to Road America. I'm going to Road America. And I actually will be at the Speedway. I was originally going to cover the Jimmy Johnson test. I actually scheduled my flight to Road America early, and I was going to fly into.
This is a good question.
What's up?
In the chat. Why does Road America start at 5 on Saturday?
It does?
Yeah.
Probably qualifying.
Sessions.
It's got to be. They're probably doing qualifying.
Practice at 11:30, qualifying at 2:30.
Yeah.
Race at 5:15.
Because they're doing the condensed schedule because they don't have Friday. Like there will be racing Friday and Thursday and Friday, but it's the Road to Indy, which we will be covering. That'll be interesting. I'm kind of interested to see what happens with the Road to Indy this weekend. It's their first race of the season. And
Road to Indy. Braden Eves uploaded a video today that I made.
Yeah, he did. He's Braden Eves' editor. So go there and leave a fat like.
Go search Braden Eves on YouTube and check that out.
And spam Justice for Jable in the comments. He'll like that.
Yeah, go spam Justice for Jable on Braden Eves' latest video, all of you. Go do it. You won't regret it.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Race starting at 5 p.m. That's, I guess they do have an excuse, which the Brickyard didn't. But, yeah, that's still way too damn late. Who's going to drive the 48 next week? Dale should drive it to get the viewers up. Yeah, that's the interesting thing. We're talking about the All-Star race, right? Or are we talking about Kentucky? Because I saw people suggesting that Dale do the All-Star race in the 48. Or Jeff Gordon, which I thought...
that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
Jeff or Dale should definitely do the All-Star race at least.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not?
But for Kentucky, I think they're going to do a tryout. They might just put Allgaier back in. I think Allgaier deserves one more shot because he kind of got screwed this week. But,
I wouldn't be shocked if they stuck Graxton in the car. Just to see what happens. Just why not?
Well, it depends what that's down to Mr. H, I think. Sunday at noon. There you go. So
yeah, Sunday's at 12:30, and they have qualifying on Sunday too. There's 2 qualifying, but Sunday it's just a 2-group qualifying like they do at Detroit for doubleheaders.
I wish they'd just do reverse grid, like reverse the
AJ Foyt on the front row, with
Dalton
Marco
Kellett and Marco on the front row. That's what it
with Marco coming in third.
Yeah.
Who is it Kellett in the Foyt car this weekend?
I think it is. I haven't heard anything about Bourdais.
What race does Seabass go in? Oh wait, he doesn't, does he?
Bourdais was supposed to do Coda Barber and St. Pete. Alan Smith, big time super chat, New Zealand 40. Thank you. Hey guys, have fun at Road America. Jealous if the go-kart track is open, go. The short track has an awesome corner very similar to the Dippa at Bathurst. Very cool. Yeah, actually, that's a good point.
Braden was telling me about the go-kart track.
Braden will destroy us.
USPKS actually is going to run there. Like it's an actual go-kart track.
Yeah, I've seen it. They show it on the broadcast. Yeah, I would. Yeah, we should do that. Thanks for letting us know, Alan. I'm sorry we won't probably get to see you this year because I know New Zealand is super locked down, which sucks. Alan, if you don't know, Alan's our pal from New Zealand. He comes up for the Indy 500 every year. Won't probably happen this year, but Alan's a good guy. He's fun to hang out with. We do a lot of karting with him when we go when we're hanging out at Indy. But yeah, we'll definitely. I wish I wasn't flying because then I could bring my helmet and my GoPro. But I'm flying, so I've got to save room for camera equipment.
Bring the GoPro and a mount.
For what? What? Yeah, but I can't stick it on a rental helmet though.
Get one of those chest things.
Everybody's saying the go-kart track at Road America is awesome, so we'll have to do it. We have to do it. Everybody whose opinions I trust are talking about going on the Road America go-kart track. Seb is in for Portland too, so yeah, he's got 2 races. Bourdais does scheduled right now, or 3, I guess, because Portland's a double. No, Portland's not a doubleheader, so he's really got 2 races: St. Pete and Portland. David, what road course should trucks go to, other than Continental Tire Motorsports Park?
Mid Ohio.
Well, yeah, probably. They already go. Did they go to Road America?
No.
I would probably say Road America.
Motorsport's their only road course.
Yeah, so Road America.
Can you imagine the lap times at Road America?
It doesn't matter. It would be exciting. It doesn't matter. The only thing it would suck would be yellows. But then again, they'd be going so slow around there that you could probably get away with running cranes. But how do we simplify NASCAR restarts? Throw the damn green. Throw the green. That's how you do it. No pit access at Road America this year. Yeah, we're well aware. Well aware. Do you think Priest should be removed from the 37 car next season? I don't know. That's a hard one. That's a hard question. Because I don't know if his... Yeah, that's a hard question. I don't know the answer to that one. Pizza Hut or Domino's? Uh-oh, Bob Pockris alert. Uh-oh. Pockris posted a statement from Goodyear. Oh, hold on a second. We'll read this. What's going on here? Well, let me see if I can find it. Bob. So Goodyear's doing some damage control. This will be interesting to read. So, there's the statement from, okay. So this is from Greg Stucker on tire issues seen today. The importance of air pressure and getting it right is something that we cautioned about before the race. With the high amount of downforce on the Cup cars, blaming the package. With the high amount of downforce on the Cup cars on the straightaways, we asked teams to respect our recommended pressures as to not hurt the tire. Early in the race, without having the benefit of any practice, blaming NASCAR, teams obviously had to be mindful of that. Most of the race was run in the heat, and the teams were obviously searching for grip, while several issues happened later in the event when track temperature cooled off a bit and the speeds picked up. We had our engineers on the ground all race, working with the teams as we do every week, trying to emphasize the importance of right front pressures.
Call me an idiot, but isn't that what Michelin did in 2005? Didn't they
of course they tried to, but I think Goodyear has a case here more than Michelin ever did. Because they're right, there was no practice, and NASCAR was aware of that, which is why I think they did the comp caution, but it didn't do much because they had to throw a red flag because they wrecked when they came in the pits. But they probably should have practiced. They shouldn't. This is the thing. At Indy, there's no excuse why they couldn't have done a morning warm-up. None. Why didn't they do a morning warm-up, at least, this morning? They could have.
The driver's been saying all they need is like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I would even say do 30 minutes. But there's no excuse why they didn't do any because IndyCar's running full weekends. Like they're obviously truncated a little bit. They're only doing one practice session, which is 2 hours, and then they're doing full qualifying. Like, how come IndyCar can do 3 sessions a weekend and not get the coronavirus? So that's the thing that leaves me scratching my head. I don't know what the difference is. And if you really have to, get test drivers if you really have, if you really want to minimize the amount of contact the drivers have with the crew members, put some Xfinity guys in there and shake the cars down. I don't know. But they're also talking here about the teams not respecting the tire pressures, which is, unless NASCAR mandates a tire pressure, the teams are going to try to get as much performance out of the cars as they can. And, even though Goodyear is the sole supplier, they're still a supplier. So, I don't think NASCAR really cracks down on Goodyear and tells them what they are not supposed to do with their products to a certain extent. And then the teams are, customers of the tire company. So, so Goodyear's blaming the teams. Goodyear's blaming NASCAR for the bad package and the and no practice, which I wouldn't say they're wrong. I mean, now obviously they could have tested. Well, I guess they couldn't have tested, but I don't know. It's tough. Talk more about the Cup rookies today. Yeah, that was an interesting part of this race. Christopher Bell, people were dunking on him quite a bit early on in the season. I think he's going to get it. He's clearly already starting to get there. He'll get there. He'll be there. Don't worry about it. And yeah, Xfinity got practice. So what? What? I think that statement was a copy paste from the Pirelli statement. You heard about gear racing in IMSA? Yeah. You know what people aren't talking about is the fact that Anna Beatrice got arrested for money embezzlement, and that's why they don't have any money to go racing. Nobody's talking about that. I wonder why. But SD Correa, or Correa, SD Correa, 123, says, you think Roger should install lights at IMS? No. Thanks for the super chat. Lights at IMS, that's a tradition I don't want to see broken. I think Indianapolis is a daytime track. I don't want to see them ever. Oh, GN says he had a super chat. Did I miss it? Oh, sorry, GN. I see it. GN said I was ranting about Goodyear. GN says Penske needs to make a wide pit road. Here's the thing. I wouldn't put it past Roger to have seen what happened this weekend and changed the pit lane. Like, that is something that Roger can do now. I don't know if he will do it, but he clearly has the money to do it. And if he's motivated enough, if he feels like there's a benefit to it. But that's the same thing with the lights argument. The lights are literally going to be there for the Brickyard. And ultimately, right now, the Brickyard does not get enough money from ticket sales to justify that. Because that's literally, I mean, it's not totally, but I think TV doesn't want it to be going on in the middle of the night. So I think it would be totally a fan comfort investment. And if there's not enough fans coming to justify making a huge investment in the track specifically for the Brickyard, I don't know why they would do it. And that's the same problem I have with the lights, is that why would you make that investment? There's so many other things that they could do at Indianapolis for the money. Like, it would take, I don't remember the exact estimates, but I think it's been $50 to $100 million to put lights in or whatever. And it's just like, why would you spend that much money? There's so many other places you could put that money in IMS. You could build more grandstands or build covers over the grandstands. That's what I would suggest. Not lights. Rebuild turn 3 to look like the inverse of turn 1. Or do a Daytona Rising with like a casino in turn 3. That's how I would do $100 million. And you'd get your money back because you could run that casino all year round. You know? So, I mean, that's... the $100 million loan part was for lights. No, the 100 million was to redo the grandstands, which they did some of them. It was to repave the track, I think. And it was some other things. I don't remember. What do you remember, Kyle, what else they did with the $100 million they got from the loan from Indianapolis?
Wasn't that was supposed to be like Project 100, wasn't it?
Yeah, but what was a part of Project 100?
Dude, have you seen? I have a program from like 2014 showing everything that was supposed to be done. Have you ever seen what everything was supposed to look like?
Yeah, they were supposed to do a ton of crazy stuff and they never
Oh,
did.
it's insane.
Oh, the video boards were part of that. The new video boards.
Do you honestly want me to find the program and look and see what they had in store?
If it's close, if it's close to you, you can go get it.
It's like right somewhere right there. Hold on.
Okay. We already talked about the TV ratings, Isaac. It's great for IndyCar. And the fact that they were only 400,000 people off of the. David, will you look at the NBC video on YouTube about the pit lane crash? The crew member's head was not even hit. His head was not hit by the car. Okay, fair enough. But, I don't know why we're criticizing him for his helmet flying off. I don't understand the point. Like, he got hit by the car and his helmet came off. Whether the helmet hit him, or whether the car hit his helmet or not, it still flew off. So I don't get it. You're not far off with the casino talk, David, says Mike. I don't know if Mike is in the know, but that sounds like one that's in the. That sounds like a comment that's in the know. So if you trust Mike Hunt, and guess what? That sounds like a meme name. I think it might be a meme name. It's a very subtle meme name, but. If I am not far off, I think for sure there's going to be a casino. I thought as soon as Penske was talking about forming Penske Entertainment to buy the Speedway, it makes sense. David, does Brad stay at Penske after this year? Will Cindric eventually make it to the Cup Series? Yes. Yes to both. No to Brad leaving or Brad staying. I think Brad's gone. My guess would be Brad at Hendrick, but I don't know. And I think Cindric for sure will be in the Cup Series pretty soon. How about an infield hotel / casino and get rid of the golf course? Played it and it was weak. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the golf course myself. I haven't played it. I haven't played a lot of golf, but Mike says this is a burner. Lol. Listen. All right, I'll listen to you, Mike. I'll listen to your burner account.
Man,
I'll trust it.
I should send you the pictures of what they had like rendered.
We just had someone on a burner who is claiming to be connected, saying that the casino's happening, pretty much. So. I don't, trust the anonymous source in the chat, but it's kind of interesting to read. Okay, so what is the program show?
There's like absolutely ridiculous art of engaging the infield fan experience, and there's like renders of like a detailed, like just weird. Like basically like buildings around the freaking grandstands, like big old monitors outside the grandstands. Just I don't know, weird stuff. You really need to send me pictures of this outrageous renderings in the 2014 Indy 500 program, nonetheless.
So this is here's the thing, and I said this to someone at a very high level at IMS, and I probably shouldn't have done it when I did it, but 2014 was like when the Indy 500 bottomed out. Like that was the lowest point. So that's when they had to get that loan because they wanted to make some investments for the 100th running and they didn't have the money to do it.
The only thing that happened is they put that like $5 million into the road course.
IndyCar and IMS offices moving to the site of the apartments under construction. Aha. So that's why that got bought. That would make a
What?
lot of sense because currently IndyCar and IMS Productions, and I wish I was making this up, I'm not. You can look it up on Google Maps. They're literally in an old strip mall across the street from the track, like where you would have had like seen a Fashion Bug and a Kroger, like that's where the IndyCar offices are right now. So that's pretty cool. Elite Fight is saying is asking Mike for IndyCar to improve their social media. I would agree with that, but I don't. Mike Mike could be anybody.
Look at their freaking Instagram. Look at their freaking Instagram, dude. It's so like dry. Give literally anybody that account, and they will do so much better. Like it's insane to me.
Have they even used their Instagram account?
Not really, and it's annoying because I hear people are like, "Oh, they laid off the social people." Like it's something that you can do from home, and you don't like. There's so many people. There's people already working in IndyCar, paid by the teams. Who
we were literally talking about this yesterday. One of the things that I'm noticing is that I cannot. It's actually staggering to me to see IndyCar get 20,000 people on their race highlights. Mm-hmm. And the F1 highlights for qualifying were like at 1.4 million people. Like, and you don't have to pay to be on YouTube. Like, there's cost involved.
Exactly.
But the platform is free. So that 1.4 million, or even a sizable chunk of it, could be yours if you work to get it. Got a couple of super chats. Taurus says, what do you think RP said when he saw the IMS production offices, quote unquote? Well, from what I understand, I've never been in IMS Productions, but I understand that they have a pretty nice setup. I'm sure it's not perfect. I'm sure it could be better, but they have the capabilities to do a lot of things, from what I understand. GN, why did IndyCar work at Las Vegas from 96 to 2000? Because the banking was lower. When they went back, Las Vegas had raised the banking. There's actually a Tony Stewart quote from a NASCAR race where it was right after they raised the banking and Tony Stewart was saying they're going to kill somebody at this track. He was right. Mr. Anti-Ant, thoughts on Steve Letart's commentary? I like it. He's been better now that he has Junior to talk to because they already have chemistry because they literally work together as crew chief and driver. But yeah, he's not bad. Mike Hunt says they had a social media position open pre-COVID. Oh, God. You know, I never get the call. Maybe I should apply. I wouldn't get hired. Guarantee you. I bet IndyCar puts up some great promotional content on MySpace. I'm just reading the chat. Those are not my words. Just reading the chat.
I'm still looking for like Project 100 details.
You know,
that's something that's very fascinating to me.
Here's something that's crazy. Champ Car was about a year away from social media, overlapping with social media. Like because their last season was 07, right? So Champ Car, even though IndyCar actually was ahead of Champ Car on social media, they had a YouTube channel in like 2006, but Champ Car didn't have a YouTube channel, didn't have a Facebook, didn't have a Twitter, didn't have a MySpace, as far as I know. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of weird to think that Champ Car went away so late, or went away so far in the past, which doesn't seem like it to a boomer like me. That social media wasn't even the thing it is today, which is kind of crazy. So you can't just go like subscribe to the old Champ Car YouTube account. It doesn't exist. There were fan accounts from that time period, but there are no like official Champ Car World Series. David, the name Mike Hunt in the chat is a meme. Yeah, I know. I figured that out after I read it a couple of times. But his information does sound legit from what I have heard privately from people in the know. So I trust some of the stuff. And yes, I've said it slowly. I know what it says. It's funny for me to say meme names, I know. What about Larson doing the 500 with Foyt? I think it's a bit late for that. Alan says, nice video, Kyle, on Braden. Alan liked the video.
Thank you. Everybody go to Braden Eves' YouTube channel, watch the video, and comment #JusticeForJable.
Champ car forever, says Elite Flight. Yep, that was one of, if not the first channel I ever subscribed to on YouTube. That was like the source at the time for classic kart content, and it was fantastic. Like, it was so weird because, again, you have to remember, back in my day, like early days of the internet, when I started my channel in 2008, and again, I started it because I wanted to upload like Lego stop motions, you know, it wasn't doing racing commentary. But when I started my channel, like, the access to classic racing content, your personal access to racing content, was either if you had friends that had tapes or that your dad had recorded tapes of the old era. So really, I only had 3 or 4 races, and only 3 or 4 races from like the kart era. And then I had some IRL races and NASCAR races and stuff that I could watch. But it was a very finite amount of stuff. And it was only a few tracks. Like there was one like kart, non-Indy 500 kart race that was at Nazareth in 97. And then there was like 93 Indy 500, 91 Indy 500, 96 Indy 500. You know, it would skip a few years. You'd only get to see certain races. When YouTube just started and you start seeing clips from like, oh wow, 92 Road America, you're like, holy crap. You know, it felt like unearthing a gold mine. You heard about legendary races like 95 Cleveland, you know, in web forms, and you go, man, I wish I could see that race. And then when people start uploading clips of 95 Cleveland, you're going, holy crap. You know, you guys are so spoiled now. You can literally look up pretty much any race on the internet and just watch it instantly.
It's one of the most boomer statements you've ever made.
Oh, I know. But that's the truth. That's the truth. And that's just like a recent thing. Lone Star Rail Fanning says, David, do you prefer NASCAR Fox or coverage or NBC? I thought NBC did a really good job this weekend. The difference between Fox and NBC is that NBC puts money into it still. Fox doesn't. So it's just really apparent. David, why don't you consider making a Spotify playlist? The hell is I know what a Spotify playlist is, but I don't know why.
Our boy Robert Mangenis, Chicken Tendy, does that.
I wish I would have gotten. I should have gotten Robert McGinnis on this weekend. We need to get him back on the channel. I keep forgetting to ask him.
Chicken Tendies.
Yeah, Mike asks, were you on spot talking IMS improvements yesterday? It is noticeably nicer. I wish. I was supposed to be there, and then they locked the media down. So, that sucks. David, were you able to get TNN for NASCAR coverage when you were younger? I think so. I don't specifically remember watching any NASCAR races on TNN, but I do know that we had some tapes from some IRL races that were broadcast on TNN. I think like Atlanta and Texas from a couple of years. So yeah, we got TNN. So I'm sure I watched NASCAR races on TNN. I miss Larry Mack today. Yeah, Larry Mack. I wish Larry Mack was on NBC. Then it'd be perfect. Still finding the VHSs of Mark Plard's best wins. Yeah, we haven't found those yet. Not a playlist, but a podcast. I don't know. I've always said this. A podcast, I think, is a lot of work. And you don't really, like, I make my living on YouTube. So it's tough to, like, invest all that time and effort into a podcast unless I had some sponsors or something for it. Maybe if I got some sponsors, I'd do a podcast. But it's tough to, like, invest that much time into it at this point in my life. Maybe someday, though. If it was financially lucrative enough, I'd probably do it.
I sent you some pictures of the renderings of Project 100 that are just absolutely outrageous. Yeah, I think it's sent.
Okay.
Tell me if you get it. Because it is outrageous.
16 messages. God almighty.
Nice, David.
Oh, that's because there's a group text going on. It's going to be kind of hard to see, but we'll put it up there. So yeah, this is what they were originally proposing for the grandstands.
Yeah,
if you can
look
see
at
that. Let's get that out of the light. Oh God, laughed at distant future. Yeah, no, that's not what I'm looking for. Let's see.
I saw someone say, "What's your Discord?" I'm gonna go ahead and paste.
That's what the grandstand.
Paste an invite to my Discord. Just
you can join. You can join Kyle's Discord. I don't have a like a proper Discord yet. Yeah, here
You
you
do,
go.
but you know,
Yeah, but it's not proper. I need to.
my Discord's proper.
Yeah,
You guys should join it.
it's not doing too hot with this. Yeah, Project 100 is interesting. Wait, they used the cover
It-
photo for
it-
IndyCar 2005.
My name in your phone is still Rahal Fanatic.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do you see that they're using the IndyCar 2005 cover photo for the?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but look, there's like a big like Coda pavilion. Like it's crazy.
I hope that's what Roger does this off season.
You want him to put the big old like Coda pavilion in the middle
I
of
hope he
IMS?
I hope he turns it into. I would like to see Roger transform and modernize IMS. Because
I don't want him to go too far like a Daytona though. Like Daytona, I feel like if someone were to go to Daytona like back in the day and then go now, I feel like they wouldn't recognize it. I feel like you need to make Indy modern, but you don't need to make it irrecognizable. You know.
Look no further than the troughs.
Sure.
I think that's so Roger won't touch the things that the fans want to keep, but I think some things they could really improve. There are some things, and because again, like looking at Daytona, like they should build a stadium. Like why not? They should build coverings over more of the grandstands. Why not? Do it, you know? I think they should.
It's gonna keep putting the Discord link in the chat because my Discord's pretty epic, y'all.
Do you think the Trump campaign will sponsor IndyCar like they have NASCAR? I would say probably not, because even the Trump sponsorship on LaJoie's car isn't specifically the Trump campaign. It's a PAC, which are separate. PACs are, without getting too out into the weeds here, political action committees. I think that's what the acronym stands for. But the point is that those are corporations that put a lot of money into like a pot, essentially, like a tax shelter pot, and then they just throw that money and they say they're the citizens for Donald Trump or whatever, or citizens for Joe Biden or whatever, or citizens for Kanye West. So that's how PACs work, and then they spend advertising dollars separate from the Trump campaign, and it's just corporate entities or rich people that want Donald Trump or Joe Biden or Kanye West to win the presidency. XYZ.
Also, 30 more likes, and David will wash his Puma hat.
Oh, Lord. Well, but I will probably wrap it up here. Not because I want to wash the hat, or don't want to wash the
30
hat.
likes, guys. Like, hit that like button. He'll wash the Puma hat.
It may be happening. So, we'll go on for, 5 more minutes. We'll see if we hit that like goal, and then we will jump off of here. Maybe RP could build some condos outside of the Oval in T1 and T4 and gentrify the surrounding neighborhood like what SMI did at Texas, Charlotte, and Atlanta. So the neighborhood around Speedway has been, I don't necessarily want to use the word gentrifying, but they have been improving downtown Speedway, and they have been restoring a lot of the houses that were sitting vacant and kind of nasty. The area around the Speedway has transformed a lot since I started living there. Oh, there it is. We're washing the Puma hat. We're washing the Puma hat. Hold on. We're washing it. There you go. Blow up the chat. Oh, 359. There are a lot of people who wanted to watch that Puma hat. We're going to have to figure out, how do you think we'll wash this thing? Just throw it in the washer?
No, you okay. I'm gonna Google how to wash a hat properly.
I don't want to bleach it.
Yeah, don't mess with bleach, dude.
Don't mess with bleach. So should I show off the hat at Road America?
Yes.
That's the one good thing. About Road America is I'll be able to wear shorts and not feel unprofessional. It'll be great. Some people want the hat kept original. Here's still the original.
Fill a clean sink full of warm water. As it's filling, add a tablespoon of laundry detergent or OxyClean. Spot clean the hat first as needed. Let the hat soak for a couple hours. Rinse the hat off with warm water. Pat down with a towel. Go do it.
Are you gonna live stream the washing? I don't know if I have cords long enough to get in there. But I might record it though. I might record it and put it on Twitter or something. Follow my Twitter at dland91 and you might see it.
Follow my Twitter at Racing Nation TV and subscribe on YouTube.
Don't mess with Tide Pods. my brother says Trump says drink bleach to clean your hat. You're gonna get me in trouble. I'm not supposed to be talking politics, Adam. You know that. Stop it. Paul Tracy wears shorts with a suit, coat, and tie. Well, I'm not gonna go that classy. I will be wearing my Race 92 gear.
I won't because
Jim Utter says your shorts aren't very professional. I don't really give a crap what Jim Utter has to say, to be honest with you. But he's not the worst journalist, though. I don't hate Jim Utter. He's just he's him. He's fine. Clean it with a little dish soap and lightly brush. People are laughing so hard. Put it in the Discord.
I did. I put the Discord link in. Oh, put it in. I put the Discord in.
Yeah, okay. Road America, Road to Indy, on track at Road America. You should go live. I don't know if we'll be able to go live, because I think the cell service sucks there from what I understand. But,
depends on what provider you have.
I have Verizon.
I think it's okay.
Okay, so maybe we might be able
to. The only thing I'm not looking forward to at Road America is all the walking. That place is huge.
Do you want to be at the racetrack or not?
I know, but you can't just say it's a racetrack. But yeah.
Listen. Until you've been to Road Atlanta and walked up those damn hills, I don't want to hear it.
You wait until you go to Road America. That hill next to the Corvette Bridge is insane.
I bet it's not as bad as Road Atlanta.
Oh, you'll see.
I'll see, but I bet it's not as bad. You should rename your channel to The David Land Show to sound more like something you'd see on NBCSN. Maybe. I don't know. You need to rent a golf cart. I was planning on doing that for Road Atlanta, Petit Le Mans. Hopefully we start getting to go to more races and pick the content up on this channel a little bit to be able to afford that. But yeah, I think I'll be renting a golf cart at least once this year. I kind of want to treat myself at one race. Road America has retired people that drive you around on golf carts. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Cup
How nice.
Should go to Road Atlanta to replace the Glen. Yes, I agree. We're talking about Sonoma's hills, the front stretch hill, rent a golf cart. 4-mile course. Bring back Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson is going to be coming back. I will guarantee you that. Who he comes back with, I have no idea. But I think he's well on his way back. I live 15 minutes away from Lime Rock. Yeah, that's another track with some big boy hills.
Yeah, but Lime Rock's tiny.
It is, but... And actually, that's another race we can probably go to this year, because it's right in between... it's now in between Glen and Road Atlanta, I think.
That is way farther for me than it is for you.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I could go. I could just go. Or I could have Rob. I bet Rob would like that a lot, actually. Just have Rob be my pitch man coming off the bench. Be like, hey, Rob,
off the bench.
Do you want media access to a IMSA race? He'd probably faint. probably faint. He'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe these photo opportunities. I'd be like, you just need to hold the camera a couple times and you can get it.
You won't have that sick... I mean, you would, but gotta get Robbie and get that sick B-roll.
I'll tell Rob, yeah. Or I could just film.
Because I get that sick B-roll, David. You know.
I know. Well, unless you're coming to Lime Rock.
I might go because I can see my lad Chris. If I think about it. Go subscribe to GT Rain.
When does IMSA run Mid-Ohio?
Oh, September. It's when it's like a week after Le Mans. I'm excited.
But that
for
doesn't matter because there's not going to be any teams there from.
I know.
The United
It was
States.
supposed to matter.
Hmm.
Someone said IndyCar at Putnam Park. Just kidding. Yeah.
I mean, they
Putnam
test
Park.
there.
Nobody understands what Putnam Park means.
Everybody doesn't even know that track exists. It's a natural terrain road course in Indiana. That's a thing.
Oh yeah. There's a restaurant near there called Mama Noon's. Anybody know what Mama Noon's is?
What is he talking about?
It's a great Italian restaurant, dude.
Hey, David, is the 8 hours of Indy still happening? I think it is, right? It's happening on the weekend of...
It's the Harvest GP.
Yeah. Yeah. IMSA to IMS. I mean, that already happened, but I would like to see it again.
Super chat.
Mr. Anti-Ant, why people crying about the BOP in IMSA on Saturday? Because they're always crying about the BOP.
People shouldn't be crying. Their Corvettes won. Their Corvettes won. They should love the BOP.
Well, it depends who. I mean, there's always one. I mean, that's the thing I don't like about BOP is that, like, rather than talk about who had a good race, we're talking about, well, somebody got screwed by the BOP. It's like, it's all so tiresome. Roy Cooper, worst governor ever, wants NASCAR out of North Carolina. What? I think that's unfounded unless you had a source for that. David, Road America has amazing food. Make sure he hits all the different spots. I will try to do that. We're actually bringing.
We definitely gotta get some cheese. Do a Twitter cheese review.
Oh God, this is like the last thing I needed post-COVID. I don't need more fattening food. I need less. I'm eating a salad when I go to Road America. Salads everywhere. IMSA back to Kansas. Social distancing fans. Yeah, it'd be really easy to social distance to Kansas for an IMSA race.
That beautiful Kansas Roval. Beautiful Kansas Roval.
Level all the houses on Georgetown Road. Build a 6-lane road into and out of the speedway on race day. 100 million should buy all the land.
Here's a good question. Since Roger took over the reins, is he finally gonna get the people in that in the trailer park across by gate 1 to get out? Is he finally gonna be the guy to get that? Because I've heard that's been going on for a long time.
They look for way too much money, so I don't think it'll happen. That's the same reason that like gift shop across the street hasn't been sold yet. GN says favorite NASCAR race of all time, all 3 series. Oof, let's think about this. I'm pretty sure I watched the 2000 Winston 500 live, Dale Earnhardt's last win, and I think because I remember the crash after the finish in particular. So I think that one, especially rewatching it as an adult, like holy smokes. And it was like caution free or like had like 2 yellows or something. It was really exciting race. So I'd probably say the 2000 Winston 500. But that's the race that also like hot-shotted NASCAR. It was like it set the bar so high that NASCAR was never ever going to be able to kind of meet that expectation again.
Turn 2 concessions at Road America. Trust me.
All right, fair enough.
We need all the pointers for Road America we can get because I've been there, but it was a test session, so there wasn't really. I didn't get to. And with all the distancing and things happening, I don't know what exactly will be there, but
I don't know what they're. I know our friends at Gutswear, the diecast dealers they're going to be there.
Okay.
So I would imagine. Look, here's the thing, Kyle, and again, this you always have to preface these sort of things these days as saying this is not a political statement, but like if you haven't been out of the house a lot, if you've just been going to the grocery store or the gas, like your local stuff, and if in your area everyone's wearing masks and all that stuff, you think that's what's going on in the rest of the country, and it's just not. Like there are some places that are just like not even acting like the virus is a thing. So it's and from what I understand, Wisconsin is a little more like that, where it's probably going to look like nothing's happening.
Because I've been to the dirt track, okay, and that's as normal as it gets. That's as normal as it gets. It is weird sitting in the dirt track because you're sitting there and you're like looking around. It's like Everything feels normal. I'm
I
not
wore a
used to this
mask,
right now.
and then everybody gave me dirty looks.
I walked up to the grandstands. I had my mask on, and I looked around at everyone, and everybody was staring at me because I had a mask on.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
sat down.
That's a thing that happens.
It's like, okay.
And that's probably going to happen at Road America too, because I don't want to say unfortunately.
Oh man, they're gonna be looking at us not because we have masks on, it's because we're gonna have those sick Braden Eves masks on. That's why.
Oh, but I wanted to buy the 3-pack IMS ones when I go to the.
They're gonna look at our Braden Eves mask and be like, oh dude, I need to get one of those. It's sick. I want one of. They're actually nice masks though. Like,
ooh, there's some interesting. They are nice masks. There's some interesting questions in the super chat, not super chat, the regular chat. PA says, "What's your favorite race, IndyCar of the modern era?" Ooh, I really liked last year's Indy 500.
Mid Ohio 2018. Outside of 500s, Mid Ohio 2018.
Mid Ohio 2018. I thought Mid Ohio last year was better than.
Literally, yeah, the last 2 years of Mid Ohio.
That one's tough because there's a lot of Indy 2017. The 500 was really good. And these are just races I've been to. Pocono that year was really good. I don't know. I really have to think about that one, but I just gave you a few. Lord Billy says, is it possible to run Cup or Xfinity at New Jersey Motorsports Park? So from a completely technical standpoint, yes. I think they have the garage space, and the track itself is good for stock cars. I saw K&N there a couple of years ago. I thought it was a good race, and they didn't have many cars, so I think Xfinity. The problem is they don't really have like the spectator amenities that would be needed for the crowd that they would get for an Xfinity race. That would be where they would have the issue. They don't have grandstands. They don't have a lot of spectator area. They don't have hills. They don't, it would just be tough to run a race with a big crowd there. Best Brickyard 400. 2000, the Here Kitty Kitty race. Was that 07?
I don't know.
When Stewart and Harvick had that duel. I remember I liked that one quite a bit.
I like 2011.
2011 was pretty good too. 2011 was
when
pretty good.
Freaking Landon Castle was falling back and they went 4 wide into turn 3 and wrecked.
Well, it was cool when Gordon was chasing Menard down.
That too. Well, the whole last sequence, freaking you had Trevor Bayne led and then pitted. Then you had McMurray, Mark Martin, Regan Smith, Paul Menard. And then Menard passed them all, and he was the only one to really keep the pace.
Black Flags Matter has his first IndyCar video up. I think he did it on Greg Moore, right?
Yeah, it was a Greg Moore video.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
We should have had him on tonight.
I know. Well, I asked him the last time, and that was a different circumstance.
Different circumstances.
But yeah. Well, next time we do a NASCAR video, we'll have to get Black Flags and some of the guys from the weekly podcast on. But that probably would have meant that we would have gone for another hour, and it's already 11:15. Because when we did that Texas review, we went on for 3 hours because we kept having guys popping in.
Yeah, because we had Chungus pop in and tell us about his ribs.
Yeah. Oliver Askew emerged from his cave. I was glad to see after yesterday. Looked like he's in a better mood, at least from his social media posts. So that's good. I was a little bit worried about that guy after yesterday. Couldn't have been very good for the ego.
Yeah, Chris just commented, saw some talking about Lime Rock 10 minutes ago. Yeah, I might go just because of you, Chris. That's why.
I mean,
you're welcome.
You have the media credential, so.
Yeah, I do. I should utilize it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I mean, why not? Why not? Okay. Unless there's anything else in the, it's only 8:17. Yeah, if you're in freaking California. We're not in California here. I'm sitting in New Jersey, and it's 11:18 at night. But I appreciate everybody who came out. Not a bad Brickyard. I did not hate this race. I will say that. I thought that the last stage was really pretty decent. It wasn't amazing, and there's probably never going to be an Indy Brickyard that's amazing in the modern era anyway. I mean, I wish the package was such that the faster cars could pass the slower cars after about 2 laps. It's not that way. For what they had to work with, I thought it was a fine race. Kevin Harvick is a deserving winner. I haven't seen anything about the Tech God, so I assume that's now official. There were some interesting performances from some drivers who ordinarily don't run up at the front. I thought that was an interesting and compelling part of this race. And, while we meme Goodyear, the fact that the tire blew out meant that Denny Hamlin didn't just run away for the last 14 laps of that race. So that was a little bit interesting. So, I don't know. Wasn't a horrible race. Wasn't horrible. I didn't need the Puma hat for this review, but you guys asked. You guys also hit the like goal, so eventually I'm going to have to wash the damn hat. And I guess I'll have some... I'm not from New Jersey. I just live here. I don't have the Jersey accent. I have the Hoosier accent, which people always get confused at around here. They go, what? What are you talking about? Oh, sorry. I talk like I got mush mouth because I had that Indiana education. So Harvick's win is indeed official. Any final thoughts, Kyle, before we pop off of here?
Yeah. Amazing weekend of racing. I'm so glad that we had however many races this weekend. It was insane. Finally getting back into the normal feel of things. Leaving in, what is it now, 2 days? Leaving in 2 days.
Yeah, to Road America. We're going to a race. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We got some awesome content coming. We're going to be doing the Road to Indy stuff first 2 days, IndyCar stuff. I'm going to be getting that sick B-roll for David and his channel and then uploading it to my channel. So go subscribe to me at Racing Nation TV on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. And I've linked my Discord in the chat a couple times. I'll do it again. Go in there, and I've seen some people posting some memes in the racing memes thing. So go post your family-friendly racing memes, and I will rate them.
There you go.
There you go. So
that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully we'll have a wow, Goodyear's trending right now. Oh god. Hopefully I will have a video tomorrow talking about this weekend a little bit more. Probably mostly IndyCar focused, but I don't see why I wouldn't talk a little bit about NASCAR, seeing as it's a crossover weekend. And then it's off to be flying to Indianapolis, and then we'll be driving up to Road America. So that'll be something. 4 days of coverage.
We're not actually going to an IndyCar race. We're just getting some cheese.
Yeah, we're just going for cheese. Yeah. 4 days of coverage. So we're going to be covering both days of Road to Indy, which will be interesting because we haven't really ever talked about that on this channel. Some interesting things have developed there. Some new cars and drivers who have not been or were not there in St. Pete are here now. It's a season opener, so they still got a shot at the championship. Andretti Autosport, a couple of Indy Lights drivers, actually moved down the ladder. So that's kind of interesting and fun. And IndyCar, obviously, first doubleheader ever at Road America. That'll be fun to see. And there's a big old bug. It's like a ladybug. Where the hell did that come from?
Don't kill it. It's bad luck.
It's bad luck.
Yeah, it's bad luck to kill a ladybug.
Oh, I'm not going to kill it. Okay.
So you better not.
Yeah. No. Okay. I thought you said it was bad luck that it's here. I was like, well, I'm talking about Road America, and if there's a bad luck ladybug, that means. But I won't kill it. So there you go. There you go. We'll see you in the next video. We're going to put up Tendy Reddick right here at the end, and we'll see you then.